New 72 Radio, the voice, views, and visions of the collective.
Good evening. My name is Mary Berger, and I am the owner of a company called ComputerDiva, and welcome to Diva Talk. Today is Thursday, July 6th, 2017, and we are broadcasting live on Facebook from ComputerDiva headquarters in Vancouver, Washington. So this is Facebook Live, so we're not going to talk for a long time. This isn't going to be an hour-long radio show. But there's a lot of things I wanted to talk to you about tonight. So ComputerDiva headquarters, we are the home of Diva Care, where we care for your computer as if it were our own, and many of them are. So with that said, I kind of wanted to launch into my first topic tonight, which is technology news. You know, we're kind of in the middle of summer. So in terms of technology, there's not a whole lot going on. However, we did just celebrate the 10th anniversary of the release of the first iPhone, which is pretty awesome. I remember when the iPhone first came out and nobody kind of knew what it would look like and or exactly what it would do besides being a phone. We were all kind of using our Blackberries. I think I had a Blackberry at the time, and I can't remember the other phone I had before that. It might have been, oh, what was that phone? It was a Treo. Can't remember the brand, but anyway, primitive phones in comparison to the iPhone. And I remember the first iPhone was, I think, the iPhone 3. But anyway, I've got a collection. I've got my iPhone 4S, which is pretty thick and has the 30-pin connector with the speakers on the bottom. I think my first iPhone was the 3GS, if I'm not mistaken. But this I haven't used for quite a long time. Sometimes I use it as an iPod. I also have an iPhone. I think this is the 5S. And this is actually the phone that my mom uses right now. This is her phone, and I'm going to turn the ringer off in case it rings. The 5S, which if we kind of put them side by side, 4S is a little bit smaller than the 5S. So this is where the iPhone kind of grew up and became a little bit tall. And then we went big, like the Samsungs. And this is the 6 Plus, I believe, quite a bit bigger than the 5S and significantly bigger than the 4S. This is a phone that I'm no longer using, and I'm just keeping it for whatever reason. It's got a little bit of a crack on the screen down here, so I really can't sell it for all that much money. Then we kind of graduated to, this is now the iPhone 7. Let me turn off the screen here. This is the 7, and I've been using this since last September. This is when it came out. I prefer this size over the Mondo size 6, if you will. I did not like this phone at all. I used it for a year and then gave it to Mom, and she used it up until probably a few weeks ago when I replaced, I downgraded her to the 5 because she was having some actual phone dropping issues on this, and I think it's an issue with the house. But this is the 7. The iPhone 8 is going to come out this September. Hi, Linda. I'm just looking at Facebook Live, and Linda, good to see you. So this is the 7. The 8 will come out in September. And we will be running iOS 11 at that point in time, and that was announced in June. So pretty exciting iPhone 10th anniversary. It's come a long way, and it's hard to imagine what we actually did without, not necessarily iPhones, but smartphones in general, whether it be the iPhone or the Samsung type phones. They are just amazing devices, and they do all sorts of stuff for us. So happy 10th anniversary to the iPhone. Yay. And on another note, we're going to talk about Facebook here for a few minutes. Facebook just bypassed 2 billion users. That's billion with a B. 2 billion users. So if anybody thinks that Facebook is going anywhere soon, it's not. Facebook is here to stay. It's one of those technologies, one of those websites where we love to use it, yet at the same time, there's a lot of stuff on Facebook that a lot of people don't want to see, me included. And I try and stay away from all the political stuff because that can kind of tend to make me crazy. But, I remember back at the beginning days of Facebook, and I joined Facebook in December of 2008. And it was during this period of time here in the greater Portland, Vancouver area. It was right before Christmas. And we had this massive, massive snowstorm. And it snowed for 2 weeks. And I remember measuring the snow on my deck being 2 feet. And literally, we really couldn't go anywhere. I had chains for my truck, and I could make it to the office. My boss at the time actually, at some point in time, forced me to come into the office. So I put the chains on my truck, went up into the hills of Portland where he was too scary to drive his own car. And I picked him up and took him to the office, where we all lasted about 2 hours, and then we all decided to go home. But anyway, huge snowstorm. We all discovered Facebook, and we got on Facebook and started communicating with each other. And the rest is history. It's a great way to keep in touch with people. In fact, I belong to a Facebook group for the burger side of my family, and they had a burger family reunion this past weekend I think it was in Illinois. That's where most of them are from. Most of these people I have never met, but because of this Facebook group, I was able to follow the reunion and kind of see what activities they had. And I've gotten to know a lot of my relatives that I never would have known had existed had it not been for Facebook. So it's one of those technologies that we love to hate and we love to love at the same time. So happy 2 billion users, Facebook. It's almost like McDonald's, 5 billion hamburgers sold. Well, Facebook can put on their sign 2 billion people using Facebook all throughout the world. So that's kind of what's going on in technology news that I felt worthy enough to share with you all tonight. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit tonight about Facebook and talk about Facebook privacy. There is a lot of things on Facebook that you probably don't want to be sharing with the outside world. There's a lot of identity theft going on in the world right now, and there are a lot of ways that you can actually trip yourself up if you're sharing too much on Facebook. So I kind of wanted to share my screen with you. So bear with me here as I do this. And I am going to share, what do I want to share? I think this one here. Is that correct? I don't think so. Let me stop sharing. Bear with me here. Okay, there we go. I'm hoping that we're still streaming on Facebook. For me being somebody in the technology field, sharing screens on Facebook just does not seem to work out well for me. So anyway, so I'm just going to talk through this, and maybe I should have practiced this before, but I'm not very good at sharing screens without maybe disconnecting. So what I want to say is that you don't want to be broadcasting. There's a couple of things you don't want to broadcast on Facebook. Number one, in your privacy settings, and what you share with yourself, you don't want to broadcast your entire date of birth. Maybe if you want to broadcast the day and the month that you were born, that's great, but don't broadcast the year. And you know, everybody loves the happy birthdays on Facebook and all the love we get, but you don't want to be sharing that for obvious reasons. The other thing you don't want to share is maybe the high school that you went to, maybe the high school you graduated from. And the reason for that is, you know, if you call your financial institution, one of the first things, or the first two things they're going to ask you to validate you are who you say you are is, what is your date of birth? And maybe one of the secret questions was, where did you go to high school? So don't share that stuff on Facebook. I know we all do, so try not to do that. In your privacy settings, you can actually turn those things off. The other thing you can do is you can go and take a look at your Facebook page and see how your Facebook page looks to an outsider, somebody who may not be your friend yet, or maybe somebody who is a friend, but you know what yours looks like, and you know what all the editing features are. And so from your Facebook homepage, you can just click on your name on the blue bar at the top of the page, and then you can click on View As, and you can choose View as Friend, and it's going to show you what your Facebook page will look like if you're an outsider looking at it. So you can kind of eyeball that and see what may or may not, what you may or may not want to show to somebody on the outside world. So take a look at that. You can also run a privacy checkup. So on the privacy checkup, you'll notice on your Facebook page there's a question mark in the upper right-hand corner, kind of in the blue bar. And if you click on that, you can choose privacy checkup. And it will there will be a wizard that will walk you through various sections of your Facebook page and kind of let you know, hey, you might want to tweak this, you might want to tweak that. The one thing I would really take a special look at is the section for the apps that you've given permission to on your Facebook page. Everybody has certain apps that they're allowing to integrate with Facebook, and that's fine. What I would really look for is all of those little either contest pages or survey pages, the pages where you go and, what age will I be when I die? What is my true age according to Facebook, according to my Facebook profile picture? All of those little apps that you go in and you take their quiz, but you've also given them permission to access all of your contacts, access various pieces of your Facebook page. You want to revoke the permissions on all of those. And then you probably want to go into the advanced privacy settings. You can go a little bit deeper, and in the blue bar at the top to the right of the question mark, there's a little drop down arrow, and you can click on that and go to settings and then choose privacy, and it will show you all the different privacy settings that you've got in there, and you can go through there and tweak the advanced options. So so with that said, I would caution everybody to be very careful about what you do share on Facebook. My rule of thumb about sharing things on Facebook is keep it upbeat, keep it light, and don't air your dirty laundry on Facebook. Nobody really wants to know about all the not so good things that are happening in your life. A lot of people don't want to know the details of what happened when you broke up with your spouse. Keep things light, keep things positive. And that's kind of my philosophy. A lot of people don't agree with that, but that's my philosophy. So for those of you who are in the chat room, if you have any questions, feel free to kind of throw some out. I'm here to answer questions as well. If you don't have any questions, that's okay. But I am going to attempt, I'm going to pull out my iPhone here. I'm going to attempt to share the screen on my iPhone. Maybe I can do that right. Because I want to talk to you about an app. Now that we're in the middle of summer, people are looking for recreational things to do. And I ran across this app a few weeks ago that I've been diving into, and it's been really fun. It's called All Hikes. I think it's called, no, All Trails, All Trails. So with that said, I am going to try and share my iPhone screen, and we're going to kind of go through this app, and I'm going to show you what the cool things are that you can do with this app. Let's see, share screen, and then a plugin is required. I don't have the plugin installed on this computer. So anyway, I'm going to walk you through it. Anyway, it's called All Trails. And the purpose of this app is you can get it for free, and you type in your zip code or maybe your city and state, and it will list all the hiking trails, all the biking trails that are available in that particular area. And in that app, you can download the map. Now, there is a free version of this app, and there's a paid version of this app. And I went ahead and paid for it because then you can download the maps onto your phone, and it can almost act as a GPS. And you can track where you've gone on the map, how far you've walked or how far you've biked or hiked. And it also acts, like I said, as a GPS. So if you get lost, you can find your way back to where you had been because it tracks your steps. And you can also go in there and you can rate the trails. You can post comments. You can post pictures. It's almost like a social media type thing for hiking and biking trails. It's really kind of a cool thing. So I have the iOS version of the app. I think there's an Android version as well. And it does a lot of cool stuff. So I would really suggest, as you're going through the summer and you're looking for things to do, I love to hike. I'm always challenged in finding people to hike with. So if anybody is in the greater Portland, Vancouver area and they like to hike, seek me out because I am looking to go on hikes. I actually went on a hike last week with my friend Amy. We walked the Lacamas Lake, which is not too far from where I am, and it was a 7-mile round trip hike, and we did it in 2 hours. So we were doing kind of a cool pace. I didn't actually use this app when we were on the hike. I was using Map My Walk, which is another really cool app. I use that pretty much every time I go for a walk, and it will track your steps. It will track your mileage, how far you've gone, and it will give you a few stats. It will actually play music for you through your playlist on the iPhone, which is really kind of cool. So so I would say Map My Walk, Map My Hike, Map My Bike. They even have a Map My Dog Walk. So if you're out walking your dog and you want to map all of your walks there, you can get that particular app. But All Trails, that is a really, really cool app. So yeah, Kelly asked me, can I share the name of the app again? It's called All Trails. And really, really cool app. So if I were to go into mine and I put in there just Vancouver, Washington, the next hike that I want to go into, it's Round Lake. And it's right across the street from Lacamas Lake. And it's a 3-mile hike. So it's about half the length of Lacamas Lake. And so it gives us a description, and I'm going to read it to you. Round Lake Trail is a 3-mile, heavily trafficked loop trail located near Camas, Washington, that features a lake and is good for all skill levels. The trail offers a number of activity options and is accessible year-round. Dogs are also able to use the trail, but must be kept on a leash. And it tells me about the elevation. It goes up to 380 feet, 3 miles, and it's a loop trail. So that's a really, really easy hike. But I've known a lot of people who have really recommended that. And then in here, it's actually got photos. There's the map, and it's got various people have taken photos from the hike. It's got several reviews here and people who have reviewed it. You can download all sorts of maps. You can download just the regular map. There's elevation maps, any kind of map that you want to download onto your phone for that. So it's pretty cool. All trails, got it. Cool, thanks, Kelly. So love that app. I'm going to use it heavily this summer. So those were really the two things that I wanted to talk about. On a non-technical level, I wanted to talk about two things. I wanted to talk about New 72 Media. They are the company that produces this radio show, and they've given me the opportunity to do this show. I've been doing this show now since May of 2016. And doing it every other week. Prior to that, I did a show called Waking the Spirit, which I did for maybe a year. And they're all on my YouTube page. You can go check it out. But so Kelly Lair is the genius behind New 72 Media. And I happened to run across a post that she put on Facebook this afternoon, and I just kind of wanted to highlight this a little bit. They are also in the publishing business, and they've got a book coming out in July. It is called Wheeling to Healing, Broken Heart on a Bicycle, Understanding and Healing from Adverse Childhood Experiences. And the author is a gentleman by the name of James Encinas. I think that's how it's pronounced. If it's not, I apologize. Publication date about mid-July. And it sounds like a fascinating book. Various stories of him riding his bike across the country and how he actually healed himself through these experiences. So I'm going to highly recommend that book. I'm going to put links to this book in the notes once this show is posted on my YouTube page. And so you'll actually be able to link over to pre-order that book if you want to. So mid-July. The second book that I'm excited to talk about that New 72 Media or New 72 Publications is actually publishing is a book called I Know Now, A Woman's Healing, Violence to Victory, Trauma to Truth. And the author of this book is Cinda Lonsway, and the expected publication date is the September-October timeframe of 2017. This is a book that was written in 3 parts, and the author is a very dear friend of mine, and the part number 1, it took place when Cinda was 19 years old and suffered a very traumatic attack and survived the attack. Part 2 of the book is when Cinda was in her early to mid 30s, and she was suffering from post-traumatic stress. And it was all about that experience. And then part 3 of the book is all about the signs. And I've only known Cinda during part 3 of the book. And so I've kind of lived through the experience of her writing this book. And I've read the book. I have not read it since there were massive changes done to it. It was probably 6 months ago, which was the last time I read it. But amazing, amazing book. So I think it's going to be an important book for people who have suffered through violent trauma. and the various ways in which you can heal yourself from that violent trauma. So I know now Cinda Lansway is the author, publishing in September, October 2017. I'll put the link in my notes. Number 3, I want to talk about a client of mine, Inlight Hyperbarics. They are a company here in Vancouver, Washington, and they've been in existence about 3 years now. Just celebrated their 3-year anniversary in their current location. They are moving to a new location in the next 2 weeks, and it's actually the same building, but they're taking over a different suite, and they're going from 1,700 square feet to 4,500 square feet. And they will be in the new location by July 15th. What I wanted to specifically highlight was the fact that on July 15th, they will be holding their next seminar, which is called Regenerative Medicine and Stem Cell Therapy. And basically, how stem cell therapy can help you heal from various diseases, and why you should consider that as an alternative form of treatment before you consider any form of surgery. So I'll put links up to that seminar in the YouTube page as well. And I wanted to talk a little bit about, we do this show every 2 weeks. And I think this show is kind of evolving. It's been evolving over the past year. And I have specifically brought in some non-technology pieces into tonight's show because that's kind of what I'm all about. I'm not just all technology. I'm all about a lot of other stuff as well. And I have a lot of thoughts and ideas and beliefs that I kind of want to highlight in this show as well. And it's almost kind of a marriage of my first show, Waking the Spirit, with my second show, Diva Talk. So more of an all-around, this is what I'm about. So that's what I'm going to talk about. So in 2 weeks, we will not be doing this show live. I just wanted to let you all know. And what are we doing here for time? Okay, perfect. So we will probably put a replay up on the Facebook page 2 weeks from tonight. Kelly is going on a much-deserved trip. She produces the show. And I'm going to take that opportunity to just take the night off from the show. And we will be back in a month. And we will put links on the Facebook page when it gets close to that evening. But it will be 4 weeks from tonight. I don't know what the exact date is, and I don't have my calendar in front of me, so bear with me here. So I'm really excited to take that evening off. Really excited that Kelly is going on this awesome trip, and excited to get back to you 4 weeks from now. So with that said, I want to thank you all for watching and listening. We will post this show on YouTube in a couple of days. Links will go up on the Facebook page and my website for the show. And some of the stuff I talked about in tonight's show, I already have blog postings on my webpage for ComputerDiva.biz. Click on news. You'll see the blog posting, and that will actually kind of walk you through the Facebook privacy settings. So I've got all that in detail on my website already. So with that said, I want to thank you all. Oh, Kelly just posted on Facebook, August 3rd will be the next program. August 3rd is a perfect date. So thank you, Kelly. I'm looking forward to that. So with that said, I am going to say goodnight. I've been talking for a half hour, which is long enough for Facebook. And I really appreciate you watching. And I will see you a month from tonight. Good night, all. Bye.